Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from around the world. Pope Francis is offering prayers for Canadians affected by the massive wildfires that have led to the evacuation of Fort McMurray. In a letter to Bishop Paul Terrio of St. Paul, the Pope said he was saddened to learn of the destruction and distress caused by the extensive fires around the city. The Pope said he was praying for all the displaced and asked God to bless civil authorities and those coordinating the evacuation and shelter for the nearly 90,000 people left homeless. He also asked for strength and perseverance for those who are battling the fire. The local church is also reaching out to help. The Archdiocese of Edmonton and Gruard-McLennan and the Calgary Diocese planned special collection. Bishop Terrio issued a statement giving thanks and that there are no loss of life as a result of the wildfire. In news from the Vatican, it was World Communications Day on Sunday, and Pope Francis focused on the subject during his Regina Coeli remarks and in his daily tweets. Rome Reports has more from St. Peter's Square.
The same day the Church celebrates the 50th World Day for Social Communications, the Pope recalled the responsibility and the importance of the media in the world today.
Possono gettare ponti tra le persone, le famiglie, i gruppi sociali e i popoli. E questo sia nell'ambiente fisico sia in quello digitale.
Pope Francis posted this message in his own handwriting on Instagram and Twitter a few minutes before. To you, who from the great digital community ask for my prayers and blessing, I wish to say that you will be the precious gift in my prayer to the Father. And you, don't forget to pray for me so that I may be a servant of the gospel of mercy. Since Mother's Day was also celebrated in Italy, the Pope gave them a very special greeting from the window of the papal apartments.
Oggi in tanti paesi si celebra la festa della mamma. Ricordiamo con gratitudine e affetto tutte le mamme, quelle che sono oggi in piazza, le nostre mamme, quelle che ancora sono fra noi e quelle che sono andate in cielo, affidandole a Maria, la mamma di Gesù, e insieme per tutte le mamme preghiamo l'Ave Maria.
More news now from the Vatican. Pope Francis met with members, volunteers, and supporters of Doctors with Africa at the Vatican recently. The medical mission was begun by the Diocese of Padua, Italy, 65 years ago. In his remarks at the meeting, the Pope said health is not a consumer good, but a universal right. He said offering medical care in sub-Saharan Africa and training Africans to take over clinics when they are able is an important expression of a church that is not a super clinic for VIPs, but a field hospital. Pope Francis also paid tribute to the late Father Luigi Mazzucato, who directed Doctors with Africa from 1955 to 2008. He died in November at the age of 88. In news from Rome, Italy hosted its National March for Life in Rome May 8th. Organizers said more than 100 pro-life and pro-family organizations from 29 countries joined Italians for the 6th annual event. The estimated 30,000 attendees carried signs, balloons, crucifixes, and children throughout the historic city center and joined Pope Francis for the midday recitation of the Regina Coeli prayer in St. Peter's Square. Although not sponsored by the Catholic Church, hundreds of priests and religious, including U.S. Cardinal Raymond Burke, a patron of the Knights and Dames of Malta, participated in the march. Back to the Vatican, Pope Francis welcomed Japan's new ambassador to the Holy See. Rome Reports gives us a peek inside the meeting at the Vatican.
Grant onore presentare I forgot le mie lettere creditaria apostolari santita.
This is how Japan's new ambassador to the Holy See, Yoshio Matthew Nakamura, presented his credential letters. The diplomat made a great effort to greet the Pope in Italian, but asked him to continue in English, so Pope Francis replied in English.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Then the ambassador introduced his delegation and his family. The women wore traditional Japanese kimonos, but the children were the real stars of the meeting. During the exchange of gifts, Yoshio Matthew Nakamura gave the Pope binoculars.
Oh, you see the lives of the people in the periphery. Thank you.
Pope Francis handed him a copy of Evangelii Gaudium and the encyclical Laudato Si. The Vatican has maintained diplomatic relations with Japan since 1942. The land of the rising sun was also the first non-Christian state to establish diplomatic relations with the Holy See.
Thank you. And finally, the news, though they are being allowed to attend a public mass in Puerto Rico, a group of followers of a popular devotion were informed that their practices continue to be unrecognized by the church. The group calls itself Our Lady of the Rosary of the Spring Devotee Association. They recently announced that Mayagüez Bishop Alvaro Carrada del Rio was inviting all devotees to a mass he was celebrating on May 22nd as a prelude to their anniversary pilgrimage to the Marian Shrine. But the diocese clarified the church's position by releasing a letter from the bishop, which acknowledged the devotee's request and his wish to celebrate Mass to continue the dialogue. He explained that the Mass will be to celebrate the feast of the Holy Trinity. The devotion group of the so-called Virgin of the Spring was formed after Mary's supposed apparitions at a spring puddle in Sabana Grande in 1953. The diocese has advised the faithful to avoid affiliating with the association because the apparitions have been found to be lacking credibility. Well, that's all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.